His wife died making a promise. Days later, he heard the door ring unexpectedly. Before dying, his beloved wife made him a promise. The day after, he heard a loud knock on the door. Sometimes I wonder if life is the same for everyone. That is to say, I know we all suffer or laugh at some point, but it is more for some joy or sadness. What is life in the end? I am Jose, born and raised in Nuevo León, Monterrey, Mexico. Since I was very young, I had to take care of my siblings. My father abandoned us, and my mother lived until I was a teenager. She had passed away after a bus accident. To this day, I mourn her passing. I had finished school, but unfortunately, I did not have the means to support my brothers and sisters. A friend of mine told me that working in the United States brings many people out of poverty. The truth is that we did not live well. The little salary I earned, my brothers and sisters made, and the house, but I did not dare to leave. I was afraid. I heard that many people lose their lives at the border. Besides, I would be from a country where they speak another language. After 5 years, my sister came of age and finished high school, but my younger brother had fallen ill. Anemia, said the doctors. They said that he should eat well, that we should buy medicine because if not, things could look bad and hospitals sometimes are not cheap. I had no choice. I packed my things to go to the US. It was a journey I will never forget. The burning sun that was almost all the way through the Stifling. Police patrols with dogs behind us was very dangerous. Finally, I arrived at Texas, but I was afraid of being found by the police. I had spent almost all my savings to get here. If I was discovered, I would be deported, and then there would be no money for my family. The days went by, everything became more complicated. When I wanted to find a job, it was very difficult. They told me that I had to have legal documents because if not, they could not hire me. I met some people like me, and they told me that it was better to go to the country because there they could hire me if I had certain documents. I didn't know what to do. I didn't even have money to do that, and I was hungry. At night, it was very cold, and I couldn't even communicate with my siblings to tell them that I had arrived. After a few days on the street, a woman came up to me and asked where I was from. I told her that I was from Mexico. And you have the papers or you are illegal. I got scared. I thought she was a cop, but then she gave me a bag with food. She said, "Look here in this direction. There are many of us, people to work." I work also, and if you like, you can say she was like an angel fallen from heaven. I really wanted to work. The very next day, I went there and she was amazed. She thought I would not come. "You came, Jose," she said to me. Then I wanted to know her name. She answered, "My name is Emma." Then we talked a little bit about me, and she helped me to do the papers to be able to work in a construction company. She was the secretary of the company. She helped me get the papers to be able to work. The truth is that if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have been able to accomplish that goal of helping my siblings. We finally became good friends. She even rented me a small room that she had at her house. She was a very kind woman, a little older than me, only 4 years older. But unlike me and my siblings, she was not so close to her family. That's why she lived alone during the weekends. We made the most of the day to go for a walk. She showed me the most beautiful places in the state. The truth is that I liked being with Emma. She was a very beautiful woman. One day, I asked her to be my girlfriend. She accepted. We fell deeply in love. It was my dream come true. I introduced myself to her family, but they did not agree with our relationship. They told her that I am not a trustworthy man who's only with their daughter for ulterior motives. That was not the truth. I loved her. The relationship she had with her brothers and sisters was now worse. Almost right away, Havana felt that it was my fault, but I did not want to separate from her either. I told her that in time they would be able to accept me. She nodded, although she was very sad. After 10 years of having known her, she began to feel ill. I took her to the hospital, and there they told her that she only had stress. They gave her some medicine, but she did not get better. In fact, she was getting worse. Finally, a doctor did a test and gave her the results. She had breast cancer. Little by little, she became weaker. There came a time when she could not even stand up. I suffered a lot when I saw her. Luckily, the government paid for all the medications and therapies. There was a moment when I had asked for time off from work so that I could help her and be with her at all times. One day, while she was eating, she fell on the floor. I ran over and I was scared she didn't respond. "Emma, wake up, my love, wake up." I called 911. They came immediately. They took her to the hospital, and fortunately, they were able to revive her. I was with her when she woke up, and I felt an immense joy that she was still with me. But in that moment, I said goodbye. I did not know what would happen to me without Emma, and in that instant, I made her promise me something. Promise me that you are not going to give up, and that you are going to live many more years fighting for your dreams, and that we are going to get married, and we had arranged with children alongside us. She looked at me and said, "Jose, I promise, but you also promise me that you will be happy. No matter what, I smiled at her. I hugged the doctor, and they told me I'd better go rest. I was the only one who was always with her. She had several nights without sleeping well, and her siblings did not even come to see her. I could not believe that they were still like this with her. To not even see their sister, that's the way their hearts behave. The next day, I woke up and it seemed that she was already by my side in bed. I felt her presence. Something was happening. I took the car to go see her. I had bought some roses on the road, and just as I got a few miles away, I received a call in Mavie. She passed away. In that second, I pulled over to the side of the road. I cried and cried like never before. It was a pain as big as the one I felt with my mother. I arrived at the hospital. I remember what I told her. Rest, love. You won't feel any more pain. You won't have to worry anymore. I stayed watching her. I didn't reproach her. The fact that she didn't keep her promise. They asked me to come back home, and they were going to call her siblings to handle the burial procedures. They told me that I had no link to her and that I could not claim her. I did not even know what they were going to do with her. I felt so helpless, especially since I was illegal. What could I do? I came home and there was not a second when I stopped thinking about her. I did not accept that in May she would not be here. I imagined her by my side all the time. The next day, I knew that there was going to be a wake in the nearby place, so I went and they didn't even let me in. They didn't let me say goodbye to her. I couldn't see her one last time. I was coming on the way home by now, and afterwards, while I was thinking about everything that was happening and how empty the room felt, I heard an unexpected loud sound at the door. It was midnight. It sounded as if someone was knocking desperately. "Open the door! We are the immigration police!" I was scared, but I had no choice. I opened quickly, they threw me to the floor and put handcuffs on me. They told me that I had been reported for breaking into someone else's house. I knew that Emma's siblings had done it to get me out of the house. I was in jail for a few days, and then I was deported to Mexico. All the time, I was crying only for her. I came home. My younger brother was almost finished with college. I was sending him money from the US. My sister had recently gotten married, and although they were fine, I was not. Every day, I remembered Emma, and it was inevitable to feel sad. The only thing I wanted was to return to the US, not because I wanted to be there for a better life, but because I wanted to be by Emma's side. I just wanted to bring her a bouquet of flowers, like everyone else does with their loved ones. That was my only goal. Then I approached the embassy, and they realized my motives, and they quickly denied me entry. They said I should wait a few years. I told them that I only wanted to visit a loved one, but that was not enough. With time and with the help of my siblings, we made a restaurant. The truth is that we did very well after 10 years. Having lost Emma, I could not give myself the opportunity to be with another woman. With hope, I returned to the embassy. I presented all the documents they asked for, and so I was on my way to the United States. Legally, I could get the visa and only to visit the grave of my dear girlfriend. It is so ironic, people who have their loved ones so close and never even give them flowers. I had to wait years to travel hundreds of miles to put a bouquet of flowers beside Emma. Well, here I am, and there are no flowers to accompany mine. Her siblings so close, and yet she is so alone. I cried again for not having been able to do something for her, because I was not there in the last second of life. It was also to say for all the support she gave me, for helping me when I needed it the most, for holding my hand when I had no one, for helping giving me shelter when the cold was all the way down to my bones. And that is my story. I would go back to Mexico again, and every time I could just come to visit her and tour those places where we spent time. Not only distance kills, also loneliness. I think I am failing the promise I once made to her, and that is how Jose ended up. A man who came to a country looking for opportunities, found the love of his life, but fate took her away. He just hopes to meet her again. It is sad to know how people judge others only by their physical appearance, nationality, or religion. If Emma's family accepted Jose, perhaps something would have changed and made the man's pain more bearable. If this is how we human beings are, we often complicate the lives of others, even with our most loved ones. And if we only lived in a world without borders, everything would be better, don't you think? I hope this video has been very useful for you. If so, do not hesitate to give a thumbs up, comment, and share. Thank you very much for watching. By the way, if you liked the video, I invite you to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and activate the notification bell to receive the last thing we uploaded. Until next time.